Hello everyone. Here is the fishing bag. Welcome to our channel. This video is about us. The fourth episode of the economic downturn. Retraining of entrepreneurs. In the first 3 videos, we talked to you about that. Because of the company and the business, the pressure brought to the entrepreneurs. In this video, let's talk about the pressure that family puts on entrepreneurs. We mentioned that in the first episode, when we introduced the background. Each person has 2 spaces. One is the company. One is the family. One is work. One is life. So, in addition to the company and career, the other space is the family. So from the perspective of the family, entrepreneurs have their own inconsistencies or tangled point. Country C, China, started its reform and opening up. There is no such thing as a private enterprise. There are a few self-employed people. As you probably know, the grocery stores of the early days of liberation were all state-owned enterprises during the Ming and Qing dynasties. In fact, we have a lot of power or relating to a private or family business. So, until after the reform and opening up, now the private enterprise, family firms have also emerged. We don't talk about private enterprise, the good or bad of the private enterprise. The problem is that people in China do business. It's always hard to separate family from business. It's always going to involve them together. So there are some problems going to. That's the first point we're going to make. It is difficult to separate household assets from business assets. Here are 2 pieces of advice for you. The first piece of advice is, since it's a business, we want you to set up a firewall in the middle of the assets of your family and your company. Don't be to mortgage your family's assets. Take the family's assets and prepare to sell them off. This is actually impossible. Absolutely impossible. We need to put a firewall between them. Because everyone do his business. Anyone can't always make money. Anytime may lose money. If one day comes down, really compensate. At least your wife, children, and a roof over your head. For the shelter. Maybe it's the place where we can bounce back. If we get the chance. Therefore, the family assets are absolutely not used to mortgage and sell off. Of course, this is also a reflection of your sense of responsibility to your family. The second piece of advice is, the company's liabilities should not exceed your total capacity. At most 50%. It is inevitable to lose money in business. And if the money is not yours or others, is it a loan? It's the liabilities that come in. The question is how much of this number or ratio is appropriate. The advice we give is do some business, whether in loss or in debt. It should not exceed 50% of your total assets. If you have 10 million, a loss of 5 million is enough. If you have 100 million, you will lose 50 million. If you had 1 billion, you'd lose 500 million. And you'd have to stop. If you all in once lose, you have nothing. Not even a chance to turn over a new leaf. Not even a chance to stage a comeback. So those are our 2 pieces of advice for you. First, set up a firewall between family assets and corporate assets. Second, the company's debt should not exceed your full capacity. At most 50%. That is, your risk takes half of you. Your loss takes half of you. And it is enough. Once you've lost all your money, there's no chance. The problem is even worse when family assets are involved. And then our second point. If you're working on a project with your spouse or family, there could be something like money. It's hard to separate it out completely. So out of this, let's pick 4 key points. We think the ones that are more heavily weighted, also relatively more important content in you to talk about. These 4 key points, we'll call them 4 reminders. The first 3 are about you and your partner are running a business together. And the last one, which is the 4th, it's about running a business with your big family. Let's start with number 1. If you are married and start a business with your wife together, or a husband and wife working at the same company, arguments are inevitable between couples. And of course, many of them involve compromise. And our first reminder is, try not to take it for a normal situation that the husband and wife run a company together. After a period of time, one of there had better quit. Because family is family. And we can't have both husband and wife at work. So your children have no one to take care of it. Or in other words, cannot anyone else work with you? Except your husband or wife. Not to mention famous companies. We mean the ones that are bigger. And the ones that are longer in the making. How many entrepreneurs are family members in the company? Not to mention the direct, collateral relatives, his original classmates. Here is actually a simple method that many businesses like to use. Try not to work together with someone you know, because it's really hard to demand or manage. But what's happening here is, a lot of couples start companies together, run it together. There's a reason for this that sounds kind of humorous, but it's also true. To keep costs down, because you don't have to pay your wife or husband to work. And if that's really the case, then the company is almost over. When a business, even his wife's salary to save down, most likely, it's because the money is so small. Well, that's not a very good reason. A lot of people will say, I only trust my wife. I don't trust anyone else. If so, it is likely that the world's biggest companies have made a mistake, because the wives of the managers of these big companies, maybe they don't work at the company. So, we don't think that's true either. This is just our number one reminder. Try not to make it the norm for your husband and wife to run a company together. So what if we really don't have a lot of money to start a business? At the beginning, you can only run a business with your wife or husband. We are faced with this situation. What should we pay attention to? Please take a look at our second reminder. If the husband and wife must run a business together, the duties and division of labor of those two persons should be clear. Don't interfere with each other's work. If the husband is CEO, Chief Executive Officer, the wife is the CFO, Chief Finance Officer, then she does her finance, and you do your business. Don't interfere with each other's work and work content. Let's take some examples. If the wife said to the husband, "You look not good at running a business," the husband says again to wife, "You look not good at tubing money." So, if the job is done, let her get it. Then don't interfere with her work. Why let her do the work if we need to interfere? Do the work yourself and let her do the other book. Just the meaning. We call it interference. Well, then, duties and division of labor have been separated. Please take a look at our third reminder. Between the work of each other, emotions should not interfere with each other, but we should learn together. Let's first talk about what it means for emotions not to interfere with each other. Let's be blunt and means. It's best not to bicker in the company. If there's something need to argue with each other, go home first and argue about it. Come back to work after the argument. The goal is not to affect the overall atmosphere of the company. Our phenomenon is that there are always a lot of companies. As soon as the staff meeting began, the husband and wife began to disagree with something. In front of the staff, they began to argue and discuss. How could you do this to everyone? It's for the joke. Both you and yours are the most significant leaders in the company. It's here that the argument starts at the meeting. What do you think the staff will think? What can they do but stare and watch you perform? And as a result, the topic of the meeting failed to allow for a full exchange of views. Management didn't get the best results either. Critical deployment or tactics. Its execution efficiency will also be affected. Opportunities are fleeting. Some opportunities were once missed. It's not easy to see again. Finally, the cadre is sad. The staff despairs. The customer leaves. The operation of the enterprise has been ruined by your own hands. So, between top managers, this kind of argument, this kind of noise is actually not allowed. Don't agree with something, like the so many private enterprise or family business. It is actually fundamental to the economy of society. In fact, there's a lot of something must be done. A lot of space for improvement. Who should this society depend on in the end? In fact, also hard to say that. We can never say country C China or some other country. The future depends on the family firm? At least, we don't think is right. Meanwhile, during the couple's daily routine, we should learning together all the time. It means that the couple, in the daily work and life, what is more important is not to argue, but to make progress together. Whether it's working methods or emotional quotient, we should complement each other, rather than tearing each other down and mocking each other. If you don't do it well, you might end up with a bad result. Even the two undertakings in the order which you have created, it's all going to be completely different. And we thought that might not be the right thing to do. At the very least, it needs to be adjusted. So if you're a couple, you have to work together. Just not separated. Even if every day quarrel and make some argue about, then we kindly remind you that this step has been decided. First of all, allocate responsibilities and responsibilities, as well as power. Who cares who? Who is in charge of who? Let's make it clear. In case something does go wrong, we shuffle, delay and deny each other. Second, think clearly about the need to keep doing it. Finally, there is no emotional impact in the company. Do not let each staff look at you as a joke. It's essential to making progress together, learning together. Both can enhance the degree of mutual understanding. It can also give enterprises a more cultural environment. Your staff will also feel some of this. The reminder between husband and wife, two people. We have a talk done. Consider the reminder that you and your family run a business together. That's our number 4 reminder. With too many family members at the top management, it is difficult for a company to continue growing. If the husband is the president, the wife is the vice president, the son is the general manager, and the daughter is the financial manager, your cousin is the production manager, and your brother-in-law is the purchasing manager. Do you think there are professional managers willing to assist such a company? Go in and look at the resources on the top. All their family control. We definitely don't stand a chance. Therefore, in such enterprises, the mentality of employees is mostly, I'm probably out of here after I've learned my skills. I can't last here. The biggest problem for family firms is that they cannot retain talent. The reason is that their family members occupy the top floor. Resource management and middle management is also controlled by their family members. A wise man can see with his eyes that this company can do it. So, that's what we're talking about. Don't have a bunch of your family at the top. This kind of company looks like a family company and wants to be a big multinational enterprise. It's very, very difficult. Perhaps you might say, Walmart is also a family business. Yes, we admit it. Walmart is also a family business. But of the top 100 seats in Walmart's top management, do you know how many of them are their family? There's going to be 90. Right? In fact, only 3 were theirs. There are only 3 of Walmart's top 100 managers, and the 97 were not theirs. It took Walmart to become what it is today. There are too many family members. Make your business hardly to grow into a great company. France's Carrefour impossible. South Korea's Samsung impossible. BMW in Germany. Michelin in France. They are also impossible. Because that's not how they do it. But these companies are also family businesses. This place is also worth reflecting on. Okay. The first 2 points because of the pressure that family puts on entrepreneurs. And we made a brief kind of statement to you. In the next video, we'll look at the last 2 things that family stresses entrepreneurs. One is the distribution of shares, including a balance within and outside the family. One is to talk to you from the point of view of ensuring good health. Let's just briefly review what we've done today. The first point of the family stress for entrepreneurs. We mentioned that household assets and business assets should be completely separated. Among them, we give you 2 pieces of advice. The first piece of advice, we would like you to put a firewall between your home and business assets. If one day, your business really lost at least your wife, children, and a roof over your head. If business is not going well, as a result, family assets are involved, and the problem is more serious. The second piece of advice, the company's debt should not exceed your capacity, at most 50%. So your risk is half of your bet. Half your loss will be enough. Because once you've lost all your money, then there's no chance of a comeback. This brings us to the second point of stress at home. If you're a couple or a family member working on a project together, there may be some things that are as hard to separate as money. Here, we offer 4 reminders. The first 3 reminders are about running a business with your couples. Reminder 4 is about running a business with your big family. So let's go through the details a little bit. The first reminder is that try not to take it for a normal situation. That husband and wife run a business together. Home is home, and family is family. When a couple is in the same company, it may have some impact on the company or the family. Reminder 2 is, if there is really no way out, it means that the husband and wife must run a business together. It's for the sake of the company, and for the sake of balance and respect. The position and division of labor of husband and wife should be evident. Also, don't interfere with each other's work. The third reminder is, between work, emotions should not interfere with each other, but should learn together. That means is both husband and wife, in their daily work and life, both for the balanced development of the company, but also for the harmony of the overall atmosphere of the company. There should be more understanding and progress, less disputes and complaints. Moreover, we should not show our uncontrollable emotions in front of subordinates and employees. The fourth reminder is top and middle managers. If you have too many family members, it's hard to keep growing. These are family companies. It is more difficult to become a multinational corporation. Okay, that's all for today's video. If you have any approval or gain from our film, you are welcome to subscribe, to thumb up and share our videos. This is the most significant encouragement for us. Here is the fishing bag. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.